those are three conditions necessary to know that. That's Emunah. But you could have Emunah and know those three things, but then in the moment you freak out. You're anxious, you're nervous. Bitachon is to rely on the Emunah, to plug into the Emunah. Bitachon is the Paris. Emunah is what you have potentially, and Bitachon is to lean into that. When I'm freaking out, settle down. Hey, you're in good hands. If a guy knows this doctor is the best doctor in the world, if a guy has all the information, his father's the richest guy in the world, his father loves him and has the means to help him, he could still freak out. The information could be true, but when you're in the freak out, you don't care about facts and knowledge, you're freaking out. Bitachon is the possibility of plugging into your Emunah. You can't have Bitachon without Emunah. You could have Emunah without Bitachon. That's like the simple, what? Is when you plug into your Emunah. Is you could be in a traffic jam, go, cursing your brains out, and you have Emunah, you just don't have Bitachon. You're not leaning on what you know. You're not plugging into what you know. You're just freaking out. So there's a space you could self-talk and bring yourself to lean on that which you know. Hashem runs the world. I'm in good hands. He's taking me. I'm okay. Bitachon is the choice in the moment to lean in and plug into that which you know. So that's simply, before I met Reb Shalom Rabashkin, that was Emunah, that's Bitachon. The Chazon Ish basically explains it the way I understand it, is this is Bitachon and Emunah. Bitachon's in the moment of freak out, plugging in with self-talk, with presentness. The freak outs, all different parts, going Meshuggah. Then you remind yourself and you bring yourself and you're Baiteach. You lean on that which you know. So you plug into your Emunah. You had the Emunah. You know all these things. Now the Emunah, there are times in our life to be Mechazek Emunah. When something good happens to us, the absorption, Hashem's into me, you're strengthening your tree, that later you'll have what to plug into. You'll be Baiteach in Emunah. When you have a crazy ashkach in your life, and you're like, Hashem, you know what's going on by me. You're really with the program. You're like mamish with me. That's strengthening your Emunah. All the times. And when you see Hashem could do it all, you're like, Hashem, wow. There's nothing stopping Hashem. We have all different events of our life that could strengthen our Emunah. Bitachon is in the moment of confusion to plug into the Emunah. So we could do things in our life to water our tree, to make sure the tree is strong. You know what I'm saying, Avi? They're all different activities to make sure the tree is strong. And then there's, in the moments, taking the fruit and eating it, Hudi. You know what I'm saying? That's how always I understood. Shlomo, clear? Bitachon and Emunah. There's all different things in our life to strengthen. I'm talking about a real thing. I'm not talking about words. Emunah, anybody could say words. And the Chazon Ish writes there are a lot of pretend words. I'm talking about a person who really plugs into something Gishmak. That we have Hashem, we're in very good hands, who runs things, who leads us in good ways. We have guys here dating. They have to plug in to be Baiteach and what they know. It's very scary. You're choosing your wife, you're crazy. We're so limited. Do I know the future? This girl, you're crazy. Without Emunah, Bitachon and Emunah, a person has no chance. What anybody in Shidduchim has to say, I'm going to do my ishtadlus to see, and then I'm going to plug in Bitachon to my Emunah. I know Hashem runs the world, loves me like crazy, and is all powerful. That's it. When I know that, I can really plug into that and do the ishtadlus that I can, and then say, Hashem, I throw up my feeble hands. I can't do more. And I'm really Baiteach, but we have to talk to ourselves. This is real stuff. And with not a fake person, you could bring yourself to a certain menuchas hanefesh, to a deep tranquility, a real state. Could really rely on Hashem. I saw a yid that lived like this. I was close to a yid, a very normal person, a very lofty person, but he told us how human he was. We saw the human frailty, a real person who expressed human frailty, expressed anxieties, but he was able to bring himself places. Through work, being patient, we're all anxious and have stuff, but you really could self-talk and speak and encourage and come to a place of a tremendous tranquility, a simchas achayim, the life of the Beiteach. He described us people in Auschwitz. They were living under Gehenna. And he described people who had a certain tranquility. He read us letters. He once read us a letter a not religious person wrote on the Baal Musar in Auschwitz. A guy wrote, my Rebbe read it to us. The guy writing wasn't from. He wasn't trying to make some, and he wrote a letter on a Baal Musar, and I think it was Auschwitz, maybe it was Maidnik, it was one of the death camps. He wrote this human being was there, was living calm, nuts. The guy was a Baitech, real. He really, under crazy conditions, he felt he was in good hands and had a certain tranquility. I saw somebody, I can't say to that extreme, he described his father-in-law in Siberia. His wife said on her father in Siberia that he was sad twice. He was a normal person. Siberia was nuts and crazy, and people were dying, and he had a certain menuchas hanefesh. He was a baiteach. He worked hard on it, and he was so reliant on Hashem, there was a calmness to it. Reb Nassim Tzvi Finkel, I said before, the Yeshiva of the Mir, told a friend of mine. He spoke about Bitachon not in religious terms. You ever had a pillow where you're just going through a lot and you mush into your pillow and you just there's some solace and you just your head mushes into a warm pillow and it just feels good? He said that's Bitachon to him. Rabbi Tzvi Finkel described that to my friend. It was something tangible. He relied on Hashem. Felt like the support of a mushy pillow. Just he felt comforted. One can really tap in and be a baiteach. I almost feel badly. Here I'm sitting here trying to describe it. I'm going to try. I promise you I'm going to try to work harder. If I was living it more, my Rebbe didn't have to sit like this. I'm mourning his loss right now because he didn't have to sit like this and say, I'm telling you, and I'm trying to describe it. He lived it. We saw it. We saw somebody who was leaned into Hashem. We saw we felt it in difficult situations. You saw somebody, his own health issues. I'm not talking about something far from him to throw. We saw on his own health issues, on his own challenges, he was a baitech. But real bitachon, and he leaned into something and felt taken care of. So I'm trying to verbalize something I experienced. We went through a story in Yeshiva that I want to share with you because I think it's rather remarkable. Akiva, and we're going to end with this. Akiva Balsam in the yeshiva had a question. Once in a while, a guy asked a question here that really it made everybody think, and it went around the yeshiva. A lot of guys were tumbling. I don't say the whole yeshiva, that wouldn't be true. In this space medrash, the question circulated, and we were intrigued by his question. Every once in a while that happens in yeshiva, something goes around, it hit. And Akiva asked, the Gemara says that you're not allowed to daven once something happens, you're not allowed to daven for it. It's a tefillah shav. As a mashal will say, and this is an important halacha, this is the din, if car accidents freak me out, I've had loss and suffered loss, and I'll see a car accident, not logically, they're all goyim, and I care, a guy is in a car says bad, but to freak out, you don't know the person, it's bad, it's sad, I should have the madrega, but I already have thoughts on who it is and get scared. So you see a car accident, so you start davening Hashem, you're not let it daven, it happened already. It happened already. It's a tefillah shav to daven to Hashem. Please don't let it be Pliny. It's a stupid prayer. It happened already. You could say if Pliny's in the car, so she get better. You can't daven. It happened already. You can't daven. It's too late. Now Kiva Balsam asked, "What's this halacha? Who cares? What's this importance to tefillah shav? What's the chalais? A bad prayer? You wasted, it didn't accomplish, what's the problem?" Akiva Balsam asked in yeshiva, so daven, so what's wrong, Daniel? Say, okay, please Hashem, No. Bzz, bad prayer. You're talking to Hashem. See, you said Hashem. Please don't let it be somebody. But the Tefillah Shav sounds like, don't do that. Akiva asks, what's wrong? So you say, waste of time? Don't waste time. Maybe. That's what Akiva asked. Was there anything wrong? Is it just a waste of time? That's what Akiva balls him. The question went around the yeshiva. I think it's a sophisticated question. To me, it was much deeper than just an intellectual question. It was emotional to me because I can relate to that. It's like, what's the problem? And I find myself praying. So what do you tell me? That's what I pray. That's what I pray. I pray Hashem, don't let it be. So no, bad. Look, you're saying that's just what I am praying that. It doesn't matter. What's saying Tefillah Shav? It's my prayer. Daniel showed us something from Rev Kook. Prayer is not something you actively do. We all pray. A Yid prays all day. We're called a davener. You and I, the guy in yeshiva who never shows up once to davening ever, you know what he's called? A maveh. Maveh is Adam. He's called a davener. A Yid who doesn't pray just means he's out of touch with himself. We all pray. The soul prays 24/7, is praying to God. A guy who doesn't daven just means, you're out of touch with yourself. I hear. Prayer is not like, if Cook says prayer is not like get frum and start chuckling hard. It just means be in touch. A few times a day, 10 times, be in touch with yourself. We're all praying to God. That's what we do. Hashem, we're all like praying. The question is, are you in touch? We're daveners. So that's what, in the depth of Akiva's question, that Akiva asked, it's a bad prayer. What do you mean it's my prayer? What do you mean it's a bad prayer? That's what I pray, I promise. When I see a car accident, that's what I pray. And it's a bad prayer? That's what I'm praying. What do you mean bad prayer? That's what Akiva asked. So the question went around yeshiva. People tumbled and nobody, there was a question. Literally, this, I don't want to say exactly how much later, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Yeah. A few weeks later, this is what happened in yeshiva. Reb Shalom Rebashkin showed up to yeshiva. Literally a few weeks later, Reb Shalom Rebashkin shows up to yeshiva. It was like a miracle that we got him. He had just been released from prison. He came here, how much after he got out of jail? Who was here? Which guys were here when he came? It was literally maybe 2 weeks. Is that true? Am I remembering wrong?
Very close.
It was like, what?
He came February.
It was not March.
Oh, yes, it was.
Was it? Maybe it was 2 months. I want to know. I want to know the real amount. Was it 2 months later?
I think he was released on the last Aleph Base Gimel.
Right.
Aleph came into the suit. This base, so base Aleph Base at the beginning of
Chanukah, Teves. A month later. I want the real. It was pretty. So it was a month after he was let out of jail. He came right to this base medrash. It was a remarkable visit. It was something incredibly special. It was very cool to me that Klal Yisrael, there was a dynamic. Klal Yisrael was excited to see him. He was excited to be back with his people. The dynamic was electric. Now he came here, Shlomo and David sang for him, Tati, my king. He was sitting near where Yudi, we had a tish set up, he was about where Yudi was. He was crying like a baby. Don't ever crying, bawling tears. I'm not talking about he was emotional. Tears were flowing, which if you know anything, the guy was in prison 8.5 years. The purity of a man, you don't cry for like 2 years. There's no such thing. You're hardened, your emotions are... He lived in a certain way in the place called prison, that when he got out, he was very present. The man was bawling from don't ever let go of me. He explained to us that it was hitting him so emotionally, is that his whole time in jail, he kept saying to Hashem, I'm not letting go of you. That was through mitzvahs. Please don't let go of me. And he literally felt that he was holding on to Hashem through mitzvahs. The man put on talis and tefillin every single day in prison for 8.5 years. Nobody's seeing, assuming he's not, who knows what's going to be. He's with murderers. The man put talis and tefillin every day. The man made kiddush Friday night. The man shook lulav and esrog. The man sat in a sukkah. Remarkable adherence to mitzvahs. And he said to Hashem, I'm holding on to you through mitzvahs. The word mitzvah means a command, and tzavsa means a connection. He said, I'm holding on to you, God, please don't let go of me. And he was bawling when they sang that song. It resonated a lot by him. Now, when he came to yeshiva, he, in the place called jail, studied Chayvus Halvavus. He learned a lot there. And one of the main svarim he learned while he was in the place called prison was Chayvus Halvavus. It was the Sefer Duties of the Heart. Chayvus Halvavus is a Musar Sefer from a Rishon. Pashtus is Rabbeinu Bechaya. That's who we assume. It's Rabbeinu Bechaya. Now, he told us a new pshat in Emunah Bitachon. He taught this to the world. It's rather remarkable. And listen what he said. He said, after Hashem does something, a Yid's job, and he said one is Emunah and one is Bitachon. After something happens, a Yid's job is to understand that's the best thing to be. You know why? Because that's what God did. The acceptance of what was. He said every single day in jail, he had Emunah, he had faith. Going forward, I'm allowed to ask and assume that I'm going to get perceived goodness. He said every morning I had confidence I'm going to get out. And there's such a thing about hoping and understanding Hashem's going to give me what I perceive as good for me. And on the past, accepting that which happened was the best thing. And he described living in such a way, every morning hoping for the goodness that he perceived as good, and on the past, as things happened, understanding so that that was the best thing for me. But then I continue to hope, not letting go of your perceived goodness. Our task for now is to assume going forward what I perceive as goodness will happen, and on the past, accepting what Hashem did was the goodness, was the best goodness, because that's what God did. And that's what he described to us as Emunah and Bitachon. I remember when he taught this to us, and I remember understanding what Akiva asked. Once something happened already, prayer is not the task. The task is to understand that the best thing happened, because it happened already. It was the best thing. It happened already. What happened, that was the best. On the forward, the perceived goodness, that's what will be, what I perceive. And that's the task of a human being, to hope and have confidence in that which we perceive as goodness going forward. He had a tremendous confidence he'd be released. Tremendous, because that's what he understood as the goodness. Hashem wants us to live in that space, what we perceive as the goodness, and to be very, very optimistic and positive of that. And then what happened in the past, that's the acceptance, that's the muscle of acceptance. That was the best thing, because that's what happened. And he described to us this task of Emunah Bitachon. I'm not going to pretend to the guys that either of those things are easy. We have many things in the past that we say, shouldn't it have been different? If that's what happened, acceptance, that's what Hashem wanted, that was the best thing for me. If that's what happened. I sometimes understand it, sometimes I don't. I'm going to rely on Hashem. It happened, that was the best thing. That's the muscle, that's what a person taps into. And on the future, the hoping of what we perceive as the best thing. These are hard. He taught it to us. It happened in yeshiva. These are easy things to say. And it must survive to say it's easy. To live it is difficult. To really live it's difficult. There's a pasuk my Rebbe would say to us a lot. I like this pasuk. I say this pasuk. I'm going to tell you, I say this pasuk to myself a lot. I like, if you ever want to work on something, you could tap into a pasuk. A pasuk could help you feel it. Yisrael v'Yirei Sachadu, a Yid and Torah is one. If you ever want to work on something, saying the pasuk could help you. It's a skula, and a pasuk can impact the Yid. There was a pasuk he said to us. I like this pasuk a lot. The pasuk says, "Hashlech el Hashem es Yahavcha." Throw to Hashem your packages, v'hu yichalkaleka, and He will sustain you. That you can hand to Hashem your worries, your troubles. Hashlech el Hashem es Yahavcha. Throw to Hashem your packages, v'hu yichalkaleka, and He'll sustain you. A Yid could literally hand his worries to Hashem. He literally could lean on Hashem. Hashem, I'm relying on you. And in a practical, calm sense, be calm. I'm relying on you, Hashem. You know what's best, you're leading me. You're leading me. One of the places that we struggle the most with Bitachon is the human choice. We do have choice. And specifically, Shidduchim, this comes up, Parnasa, this comes up, Yeshivas, guys are choosing Yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael. I promise part of the task. I'm meeting with a lot of guys lately on decisions with next year's. Decisions are fascinating because decisions contain that I have to choose. We're all choosers. In decisions, it's massive to be a Baiteach. I do my best, I'm relying on you, Hashem. This is what I could do, and I'm relying on you, Hashem. You lead the way. And specifically, a lot in decisions, we need to learn to rely, to plug in to that which we know is the truth. We're in good hands. Even in place of decisions, you made me, this is my limited capacity, I don't have a crystal ball. All I could do is make some effort, I'm making an effort, I'm doing a shtadlus like you told me, and then I'm leaning on you, Hashem. I'm really going to lean on you. I do my efforts to plug into what I know, and then I'm leaning on you. Hashlech al Hashem es yahavcha. Throw to Hashem your packages, vuya chalkaleka, he'll sustain you. He'll take care of us. We're in very, very good hands. So I wanted this week's parsha, but this week's parsha, Bahar, is parsha of Shemitah, which is literally the mitzvah daraisa of Bitachon, of faith, of relying on Hashem, of leaning in, plugging in. Hashem runs the world. Of faith, of really relying, we're in good hands. Person's in good hands. Reb Shaul Alter, I said before, Reb Shaul Alter is in America now. I asked Reb Shaul Alter, I was zeicha to meet him when I went to Eretz Yisrael, and he said, you could ask any question you want to me. So I said, I see on Rebbe a tremendous calmness. I'd like to know more about this. He's one of the calmest, chilled people I ever met in my life, maybe the most. He reminds me, my Rebbe, there's something he exudes, a certain calm that's like infectious. So I asked him about it. So he said, I want to tell you three things. I said before, he said, point one is you don't know don't assume, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because I look calm to you, don't know what's going on inside. That was a good musser. Somebody can act and pretend. So step one, that's what he told me. Two is it's true, I'm very calm. And he said it's my nature. That was the second thing he wanted to teach. I thought that was very cool that you see something big by somebody. He wanted to teach me this, that it could be it's a tchuna, it's a nature. He said by nature I'm a very chilled person. So that's the truth. Sometimes you see a guy's a big masmid. Don't compete with that guy. He might be by nature a masmid. I'm not saying it's not a milah. Just understand, we're all constructed differently. It was very neat to hear that he said, by nature, I'm very relaxed. The third thing is he said, I worked on it a lot. He said, I worked on it a lot. Which is very interesting. He took that, which was natural, and he strengthened it. He said, I worked a lot on it. And he said something beautiful. He said, he said, a little kid before he crosses the street looks both ways. I just was driving my car, and a little youngster ran across the street. It was life-threatening for the kid. Baruch Hashem, I didn't get so close to him, but the kid was 2 or 3 years old, ran across. I asked, there was a lady nearby. I said, do you know the child's mother? He said, yes. I said, please call her up, either give him a patch, teach him somehow this kid's life could be on the line, please. And the lady said, I'll call her. She called the mother right away. So otherwise I would have had to call the mother myself. Let it call the mother. Something needs to be taught here. It's very dangerous. So he said, we train a little kid to cross the street, has to look both ways. And you train your one day with your own kid. If you have to patch on no anger, just save your kid's life. Your kid's not going to the street. No. Kid will walk back, stop. Either a patch. You don't necessarily have to hit. I'm not the biggest hitter in the world. If you're actually a calm person and you look, so don't ever walk in the street, they'll a little bit challenge for a second. They'll put your foot like, what are you going to do about it? It's not what I'm going to do. You're never walking in the street. And they see, whoa, you mean it. That should be understood. You owe your kids that. That's not a negotiable thing. Now they're walking the street, they're 2 years old. Make that very, very clear to your youngster. You just got to protect them. That's got to be taught and understood by the youngster. Lemaisa, he said, a little kid you train to cross the street, look both ways. He said, but one time if they're holding Tati's hands, they don't have to look. Holding Tati, you look up, Tati's there, they don't have to look. He said, I try to live my life, I'm holding Tati's hands. He said, I remind myself all the time, I'm holding Tati's hand, Tati's looking. And many examples of just being in Hashem's hand, we're in very good hands. To hear from a Yid who said he worked hard on this, chazering and knowing he's in good hands. And he described, like reminding himself, self-talk, that he's holding Tati's hands. We're being led. We're in very, very good hands. We're not at it alone. We're not at it alone. Every morning we make a bracha that's very magical. Once in a while, be present. It's a cool bracha. There are times in our life this bracha could like save your life. Plug into the bracha. Baruch atah Hashem, Lekenu melech haolam hameichin mitzadei gaver, who prepares the footsteps of man. Hashem prepares the footsteps. He decides where we go. He leads us and guides us. Hashem guides us. He sends us to the right places. There's a Gemara. The Gemara says, "V'atar demitbayin shan mavilin lei." Where a person's supposed to be, his feet bring him. It says, "Ragloi deinish in an arvelei." Our feet are a cosign. They bring us where we're supposed to go. And he described this calm person of Shal Alter. I hope maybe next week we'll be able to bring some of the Chaver, all the Chaver to him, or bring him here. I don't know. Maybe Hashem will give us, after the Shema we'll get to see. I want you to meet a Yid who to me looks like a Baitech. Looks like he has Emunah. That's what it looks like. He has the tranquility that can only belong to somebody who lives a life of faith. I want to describe my Rebbe to you, and I hope to work on this. I hope we could all work on this. My Rebbe advised, I spoke before, advised easier times. To do it under the most stressful times is difficult. We're freaking out. To pick easier times. There's traffic jam. He used that mashal to self-talk that Hashem runs the world. It's an easier. I'm not freaking, so I'll be a little late to the ball game. I'm not like, use an easier time to really self-talk that Hashem runs the world. I'm in good hands. As he described many times, you have Brevda in the back seat of a car late to a shir. It's very stressful. 100 people, 200 people are waiting for the man.
It was the driver's fault.
And sitting in the back seat of the car. Were you driving, Rav Ezzy?
I didn't say that. And is this recorded? It is. Reb Yitz was the driver. Rebbe didn't give Shmir so much. I was the driver. I came to him 40 minutes late, Rob.
Say the language you were saying in the back seat.
The Eibishter is still running this world. Sure. Maybe once in a while we'll need a reminder.
That sense, like there was a calmness in a person that was a baiteach, who could have freaked out. You're late to a shir is no joke. The pressure, the stress, the sense. Hashem runs through.
He would machbitz when I meet him on a later occasion, like, oh, my driver. You need to calm down. Like he was
I was sitting Motzei Shabbos. And there was a large crowd of tremendous mivakshim, of very, very sweet and sincere people who wanted something, and they wanted a certain thing, and you're sitting there and you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders to run a matziv. Right now, there's a whole bunch of sweet, good people, and I'm supposed to like make a musaf. Let's have musaf by Gishmak. So it could be a pressure, and reminding yourself, Hashem runs the world. Do your best. Hashem runs the world. Hashem runs. You're in good hands. Of course, we do the things we can, the amount we can, and we're in good hands. We're led and very, very good hands. Like the child holding the hand of the parent, and it feels safe and a security in that. All of us are shaykh to tapping into that. Really shaykh, that I'm being led, each of us, Hamechem Mitzadei Gaver, who prepares the footsteps of man. Each of us is capable of like plugging into that. Thank you, Hashem, who prepares my footsteps, who leads me in a good place. We're capable of like plugging into the point that we can thank Hashem. Much like a guy has eyesight and he experiences like Hashem. hey, I like this. He sees, hey, Hashem, I'm not an Isha. He feels that. He experiences that. We're capable of experiencing Hashem is guiding me to the point we say, thank you, Hashem. It prepares my footsteps. Anybody could see in their own lives and look at the history of their lives, you're like, wow. You're just led. Hashem is like taking us places. You see the story unfold of your own life, and you feel very, very, very led, very brought to places. They're all different. When you think about the Rebbe, I think about meeting my Rebbe. I was led there. I didn't choose that. I was led there as a little boy, so I could experience Hameichen Mitzadei Gaber. You led my footsteps. You brought me places, Hashem. You put me in the places I needed to be. We could absorb that and feel that and use that as a tremendous chizuk going forward. All of us should be zeiche. Every single one of us should be zeiche to the tremendous tranquility, to the gift of tranquility that is the lot of the Beiteach. We should all be zeiche to that matzah of Bitachon, of faith. I'll close with a pasuk that it says, Baruch HaGever Shiftach B'Hashem. Baruch means you get blessings for trusting Hashem. My Rebbe told me this pshat. It's a Rabbeinu Bechaya, it happens to be. But it says, Baruch HaGever Shiftach B'Hashem. The pasuk says, blessings to the one. You get schar. Vayachshaveh loy l'tztaka v'yaminu b'Hashem mitzvah Avram Avinu. One gets schar. You get rewarded for having faith. So Hashem gives us schar. Baruch HaGever says the schar. Blessed, you get bracha. Is the Gever Shift Hashem. Then it says, V'haya Hashem miftacha. Hashem is his faith. It's redundant. Baruch HaGever Shiftu Hashem. Bless him, Hashem. V'haya Hashem miftacha. Hashem is his faith. It says he's blessed. Says Rabbeinu Bechaya, besides the payment, the very matzah V'haya Hashem miftacha is a schar in itself. The tranquility, the beautiful life of the one. It would be like saying what I would say. If somebody is friends, but you take a special person, somebody's friends with him, so you get schar for being friends with him, and you're friends with him. Better than any schar is that you're friends with him. Yeah, you get rewarded, it's a lot of money, it's a good thing, but better than all the schar is that you're friends with him. So you get paid for it, and you have the thing itself. So I've heard ball players who really love their trade say, I would pay for this. I get paid for it, and I get this. Wow. That's what the pasuk's saying. Blessed is the one you get schar. V'haya Hashem miftacha, and you have this situation, this calmness, this life of faith in Hashem, this tranquil, beautiful life. I saw the life of Beiteach. I got to see somebody. I got to see the magnificence, the calmness, the serenity, just the beauty of a life of Beiteach. He spoke to us, he once said to us about walking to yeshiva. He had to walk about a block long. He said if you're stressed out of your brains, he said you're sitting there, you're like in a certain space, that we all get there. He said he would describe to us the life of a guy looking and seeing the trees and feeling the sun and absorbing the kindness of Hashem. He said the rich get richer. Here you have Bitachon, you're less stressed. And then not only you're less stressed, you actually, so that's like Baruch HaGever, that's the bracha. If you're less stressed, first of all, you're less stressed. You live Haya Hashem Miftacha. You're Baruch, you get extra blessings. You actually enjoy the sunshine. He said the beautiful lawn is so nice. He said the guy has such a beautiful house. So many things you get to enjoy. It's the Baruch HaGever, V'haya Hashem Miftacha. You have both aspects. Remember when he described to us Reb Miller's walks. My Rebbe described Reb Miller's walks. Rav Victor Miller used to walk long distance every day. He described somebody who was a Beiteach who just enjoyed. He described Reb Miller's walks and described the benefits of a Beiteach, all the things they're absorbing. Now, I say to all of us, it's human. We have our anxieties. You come to yeshiva, all of us. The days are so much, I'm clearing, I'm wanting. I said, Daniel, stop. Today I had big clears. I really wanted to run volleyball. I had meetings with guys, and you could be consumed by a lot of what should I do? You have to decide and trust in Hashem. Hashem runs the world, use it, and then absorb and feel and experience. Baruch HaGever, there's a lot of bracha, and deeper than all the side blessings, V'haya Hashem Miftacha. You live in that beautiful, calm relationship of faith in Hashem. It should be the lot of us all. Let's get to second Seder, Pepper. Okay, let's go. Is
Which one was Emunah?
I don't remember which one it was.
It doesn't sound like it's not like a contradiction.
He said from the place of